So before we get started, we like to open all of our events with a safety moment. We prioritize safety. It kind of showcases that we do that. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows we're on a rooftop and the emergency exit is that staircase right there. All right, so about the Brooklyn Grange where we are today, this is a special place and a model of how we can work together to create a sustainable ecosystem right here in Brooklyn and across New York City. And in addition to building green spaces and hosting educational programming, the Brooklyn Grange works to widen access to locally grown produce for New York City residents. So we're happy to be here for today's announcement, and we want to talk about an exciting initiative that will further build upon that sort of innovative thinking and Equinor's partnership with the community. So before I turn the program over to the president of Equinor Wind US, I want to make sure to acknowledge all of our partners, community members, and specifically members of the Sunset Park Task Force who volunteered their times towards the development of the fund that we're announcing today. And I'd also like to acknowledge that we are so happy to be joined by a representative from Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez's office as well. And secondly, as a matter of housekeeping, following the last speaker at our announcement, we're going to open for a short Q&A for the news media here for questions specifically about the Ecosystem Fund. So I'll come back to the podium at the end of the program to manage that. And following the speaking program, the Q&A, we're going to have a brief reception and a light lunch. So we hope you all stick around for that. So on to our first speaker. Last month, Molly Morris was announced as the president of Equinor Wind US. She leads Equinor's efforts to bring offshore wind to New York during a truly transformative time. With Equinor since 2008, Molly has been a leader in Equinor's priority focus on sustainability. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to our new president of Equinor Wind US, Molly Morris.
Thank you, Harrison. Really nice introduction. And I'd also like to acknowledge and welcome our partners from NYCERDA, the New York City Economic Development Corporation, and the Sunset Park Task Force, for joining all of us here today at the Brooklyn Grange, and for all of you and all the work that has gone into making this day happen. This is truly a special day for us here at Equinor and for our partners, BP. I'm so happy that Doreen is here with us. We truly value the partnership that we have with NYCERDA. And for me personally, I could not be prouder that this was one of my first official acts as the new president of Equinor's renewable business, and to be here with you to launch this new fund. It's an initiative that underscores our commitment to the communities in which we work. Developing offshore wind projects like Empire Wind and Beacon Wind projects that will generate enough renewable energy to power 2 million homes is a big, big effort. At Equinor, we recognize the enormous responsibility that comes with our role as a leader in this exciting effort. Responsibility to the communities we interact with, the stakeholders who support us, and our partners in state and local government who are working with us to develop this new source of clean, renewable energy. Our work in Brooklyn underscores this commitment. I am happy to be here today with our friends from the NYCEDC. We are already working together in the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal and the community of Sunset Park to revitalize the once proud industrial port facility that you see right behind us and transform it into a major staging and assembly port for offshore wind turbines to support our Empire and Beacon projects and for the growing US offshore industry on the East Coast. And in June, Equinor and BP announced the creation of an offshore wind innovation hub in partnership with NYCEDC and other organizations. The hub is facilitating partnerships with startups that brings new technological solutions to the US wind industry. Today, we are continuing our partnership with NYCEDC and our commitment to the community of Sunset Park with the launch of Equinor's Offshore Wind Ecosystem Fund. When people think about what building an offshore wind farm project requires, they might imagine teams of engineers and technical experts studying plans, poring over maps, folks in hard hats, welding the giant towers and turbines. And that, of course, is not wrong, but it's only a part of the picture. None of what we do happens in isolation. We are creating a whole new supply chain that will create jobs right here in New York City. And as important, create opportunities for a wide range of talented people in this and other communities and strengthen what we do. The Offshore Wind Ecosystem Fund was created with NYCEDC and the Sunset Park Task Force. The fund will devote $5 million to help support sustainable growth, empower underserved areas, and underpin climate justice in New York City's offshore wind ecosystem. Our goal for the Ecosystem Fund is to contribute to the future of New York's clean energy economy by energizing a new pipeline of creative ideas and talented people from across the city to build new careers in this exciting field and expand the ranks of New York's clean energy community. I want to thank all of those who have been involved in this planning. It has been well worth the effort. What this fund is really about is the inclusive and long-term buildup of New York's clean energy community and contributing to an effort that can make a lasting impact on the city and on this industry. We are proud of our role in helping create this fund, and we cannot wait to see all the exciting ideas and creative work that it will help bring to life. Thank you again for all of you being here. And with that, I will turn it over to Doreen Harris, the CEO of NYCERDA.
Thank you, Molly, and good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning. Molly, I have to start with my sincere congratulations to you. Your predecessor, Siri, certainly left big shoes to fill, but I am so thrilled to be working with you in the new role and to be celebrating this moment, this milestone with you here today. So congratulations very much, Molly. And certainly looking forward very much to expanding on our partnership with Equinor. Equinor is a major developer of offshore wind projects toward New York's nation-leading goals under Governor Hochul's leadership. We have 3 projects that the Equinor team is developing. And really, this partnership is one that has only expanded over time through milestones like that, which we are celebrating here today. These are major infrastructure projects that will not only change this community, but truly our state at large. And that's why we need to celebrate these milestones that are intended very much to get local with respect to bringing benefits to New York and specifically here to Sunset Park. So we at NYCERDA, as the state's clean energy agency, take seriously not only the achievement of our goals, but doing so in a manner that is responsible and that is reflective of the priorities of the state of New York in ensuring that the benefits of these investments accrue equitably across our state. So it is true, when we think about these projects, today is an example of how very deliberate action can make a difference in local communities like Sunset Park. And not only how to create a more level playing field for these communities, but also how to ensure that safety, health, and economic growth are prioritized in the development of our offshore wind projects. So the Ecosystem Fund does just that. And I'm extraordinarily proud to celebrate this milestone here today. Not only in supporting communities like Sunset Park with a pathway to realize these benefits, but also how to get very local with respect to ensuring that the community members here can benefit as well. And when we think about benefits, we think about very local issues. How do we invest in startups for clean energy companies? How do we invest in MWBEs across our state? How do we invest in local communities that can bring forward this workforce of the future? And we need to do this all together. And as we speak, NYCERDA is in the midst of our next workforce RFP that's on the street, $9 million through our Offshore Wind Training Initiative. And one might say, how does this work together? The reality is we need both and all of these investments. In fact, all told, we as a state are investing $100 million plus in workforce development initiatives. We need the state, the federal government, the local actors, and the private sector working together. And this is really reflective of that mutual commitment that we share. So together with partners like Equinor, we will ensure not only is our training scaled up, but that we invest in our communities to bring the workforce of the future forward across our state. And so for all these reasons, I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic not only about today's milestone with the launch of the Ecosystem Fund, but also for the dedication and hard work that brought us here today. As I said, these are projects that are many, many years in the making, and we need to be deliberate in every step we take to ensure that we do right in the ways that we didn't always do right in the past. And that's why I'm so excited to be here to celebrate this milestone and really appreciate the synergy that's coming together as we stand up this industry here in New York, leading the way for others to follow. So thank you all for your support of the fund. I'm looking forward to more milestones along the way as we service our mutual goals for community action and clean energy at the same time. So next, I'd like to welcome New York City Economic Development Corporation Chief Operating Officer, Melissa Rahman Birch, to offer some remarks. Melissa?
Hello, everyone. Great to see you all this morning. Thank you, Doreen, for the introduction, and I want to extend my congratulations to you, Molly, on your recent appointment, and to thank you and Equinor for your very hard work and dedicated work on this important launch. I also want to thank broadly the representatives from the Sunset Park Task Force, who we will hear from, and my colleagues at the EDC that were part of the strategy committee to develop the fund, as well as the solicitation priorities. And of course, the many representatives from across the task force, EDC and Equinor, that are part of the selection committee for all of their work ahead. We at the EDC are committed to making New York a global leader in the offshore wind industry and helping the city to meet its nation-leading climate goals of 100% clean electricity by 2040 and carbon neutrality by 2050. And applaud Governor Hochul and the work of our state partners in NYCERDA for setting these ambitious targets and for being partners with us in helping to meet a climate-forward agenda. The offshore wind sector is poised to employ over 13,000 New Yorkers and generate $1.3 billion in average annual local investments. To do this effectively and equitably, steps must be taken to ensure that the offshore wind workforce reflects New York City's diversity. I am thrilled to join Equinor to announce the opening of grant applications today, which will ensure that the city's offshore wind industry development initiatives not only increase economic opportunity for New Yorkers, particularly those that have been historically left behind by previous energy investments, but also enable the growth of this industry to realize our clean energy future. The $5 million Clean Energy Community Fund is a great demonstration of a public-private partnership in action and at work, and will support sustainable growth, workforce empowerment in historically underserved communities, and climate justice. We are very excited to be partnering with Equinor in transforming the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal, which you see out the window here, into one of the largest offshore wind port facilities in the nation. And of course, we're very excited to be partners in launching this fund, which marks a major step forward in our commitment to both provide renewable power and to spark fresh economic activity and creating quality jobs for all New Yorkers as the offshore wind industry in New York continues to develop. Thank you so very much for being here today, and I am delighted to welcome Esther Sosa, representative of the Sunset Park Task Force. Thank you.
So first, I'd like to say welcome, everyone, to my beautiful neighborhood of Sunset Park. We are, and thank you for the speakers for their incredible remarks. So, Sunset Park is home to a very vibrant community, working class community of Latino and Asian and white. And if you walk just 2 blocks north, you're going to see just the diversity in businesses that exist within this neighborhood. But Sunset Park is also one of the largest remaining industrial centers in New York City. It is one of the last industrial clusters remaining at the core of our local economy. The residents of this community have fought long and hard to ensure that this community remains an industrial working waterfront for our members, to benefit our members. And today, we are proud to have this partnership with Equinor, where we are housing them and giving them 75 acres of our land that would have been used for other purposes to really propel the green revolution that we have been envisioning for these past years. We've been talking about it for so long, and now it feels surreal to have it in our backyards. So we're very excited that this will be happening soon. And the fund, the Ecosystem Fund, we hope is the start of one of first partnerships between major developer and a working class community that is really wanting to maintain its roots, right? It wants to give a thriving, it wants to ensure that its community continues to thrive. So we're excited for this partnership, and we're looking forward to future opportunities to work together, because it could signal what the offshore wind industry could mean for the United States, communities like Sunset Park across the United States. So I welcome representatives from across the United States as we strive to build 30 gigawatts of offshore wind across in the US in the coming years. 2030, it feels like a long time away, but also not a long time away, very short time away. So it is an exciting time. And just a little bit about the purpose of this fund. We hope that it would really create innovative partnerships. Think where communities would think outside of the box, so that we can start to build the industry that we need. And many of us don't really know what this industry is because we have never seen it here in the United States. But this fund is an opportunity for anyone really who is interested in learning to apply, especially groups that have been traditionally left out of the conversation. So we're going to show the timeline. We're going to host information sessions for people who have questions about it to reach out to us. And we want to make sure that it is an accessible fund for everyone, because we really are building the ship as we go. And it's an exciting time. So with that, I was told to remind everyone that there will be a networking session afterwards, but there's also going to be an additional matchmaking session where we hope to bring some light into what is it that we are looking for and how we can advise or support groups who have traditionally been excluded from funds like these to be properly recipients and hopefully recipients. So that would be in November 29th, with more details to come later on. So I think that is my time. And thank you. I guess now we will bring Harris back for Q&A. Thank you.
And just building off of what Esther said with the networking event coming up, we have posters everywhere with QR codes, so we encourage you to sign up. You can do it right there. So let's go right to the networking event. Thank you all for being here today, and we'll talk to you in the networking event.
Questions?